Hello, welcome to the U.S. Immigration News. President Trump has been issuing executive orders since he returned to the White House, with the goal of changing the immigration landscape in the country. His administration is making rapid progress in enforcing more stringent border controls, increasing deportation activities, and advancing contentious executive orders that go against established immigration laws. On his next move, if you thought the 2017 travel ban was controversial, get ready, because another one might be on the horizon, and it could be even bigger. Trump has just signed an executive order that could set the stage for a new round of travel restrictions. The big question is, who will be affected this time, and how far could it go? Let's find out in this video. If you are interested in this topic, stay tuned until the end of the video. If you are liking this video, please hit the bell button, subscribe, and like it, so that you may get updates straight to your smartphone. Now let's get into the video and get started. We all remember the chaos of Trump's first travel ban. Within days of taking office, he issued an order barring traveler from 7 Muslim-majority countries. Airports were in turmoil, families were separated, and lawsuits flooded the courts. After multiple legal battles, the Supreme Court eventually upheld a revised version of the ban. Fast forward to today, and it looks like Trump is gearing up for round 2. But this time, he's taking a more strategic approach, one that could make it harder to challenge in court. What's in the new executive order? Trump's latest executive order doesn't impose an immediate travel ban, but it's setting the stage for one. The order directs federal agencies, including the Department of Homeland Security and the State Department, to conduct a thorough review of countries that have what the administration calls deficient vetting procedures. So what does that actually mean? Essentially, officials will assess whether certain countries have adequate security protocols in place to screen individuals before they travel to the U.S. This includes examining how well these countries track criminal activity, monitor potential terrorist threats, and verify identities in their passport systems. If a country is deemed to have weak security measures, it could face new restrictions, ranging from heightened visa scrutiny to outright travel bans. The timeline for this is fast. The order gives officials just 60 days to conduct their review and submit recommendations. Once that deadline passes, the administration will determine which countries, if any, should face new immigration restrictions. Given Trump's past approach to immigration, many experts believe this review is more than just routine policymaking. It's a stepping stone toward another round of travel bans or visa suspensions. Back in 2017, Trump's original travel ban was widely criticized as a Muslim ban because it targeted 7 predominantly Muslim countries. The administration argued it was about national security, but critics saw it as religious discrimination. That framing led to multiple legal challenges, and while the Supreme Court ultimately upheld a revised version of the ban, the policy faced significant public backlash. This time around, Trump is taking a more calculated approach. Instead of explicitly targeting religious groups, the new order is being positioned as a broader national security measure. The language focuses on vetting deficiencies, rather than naming specific regions or faith-based communities. This subtle shift in wording could make the policy more legally defensible, reducing the risk of courts blocking it on constitutional grounds. In short, while this executive order doesn't immediately restrict travel, it's a signal that changes are coming. And based on Trump's past actions, those changes could be significant. The big question now is which countries will be affected and how far these restrictions could go. Who could be affected? So which countries are on the radar this time? While the administration hasn't released an official list yet, Immigration experts are already making predictions. If history is any guide, countries like Yemen, Somalia, and Sudan, nations that were part of Trump's original 2017 travel ban, could find themselves back under restrictions. These countries have long been cited by the US government for having weak security screening procedures, and given Trump's emphasis on vetting deficiencies, they're likely high on the list. But that's not all. Some analysts believe this new order could extend beyond the Middle East and Africa. Venezuela and Nicaragua have been floated as possible additions, with the justification being political instability and concerns over government corruption. If included, this would mark a shift in Trump's travel restrictions, expanding the scope beyond national security concerns to political ones, something that could raise new legal and diplomatic challenges. And then there's China. Amid rising tensions between Washington and Beijing, some experts warn that Chinese nationals could face new visa restrictions as part of this policy shift. This wouldn't just be about security concerns, it would be a move deeply tied to the ongoing geopolitical rivalry between the two countries. Over the past few years, the US has already placed limits on visas for Chinese students and researchers over espionage fears, and this executive order could be another step in that direction. If China is included in any new restrictions, it would undoubtedly escalate the already strained relationship between the two superpowers. But perhaps the biggest concern isn't just about new travelers, it's about people who are already here. The language of the executive order leaves room for interpretation, and that's where the uncertainty comes in. Could current visa holders from affected countries face new hurdles when renewing their status? Could legal immigrants who've already settled in the US find themselves caught up in additional screening procedures or delays? These are the questions causing anxiety among immigrant communities. In past immigration crackdowns, even green card holders have faced unexpected difficulties, and there's no guarantee that won't happen again. For now, all eyes are on the administration's next steps. The review process will determine which countries, if any, face new restrictions. But if the past policies are any indication, the impact could be wide-reaching. How does this compare to Biden's approach? Now, let's take a step back and compare this to President Biden's policies. Back in 2021, Biden overturned Trump's original travel ban, calling it a stain on our national conscience. He expanded refugee programs and eased restrictions on asylum seekers. But his handling of the border crisis has been heavily criticized, both by conservatives who say he's too lenient and by progressives who say he hasn't done enough to protect migrants. Trump, on the other hand, is doubling down on his hardline stance, using the border crisis as a rallying point. And guess what? It's working. Polls show immigration is one of the top concerns for voters heading into 2024. Civil rights groups are already preparing lawsuits, arguing that this could be a discriminatory policy. But remember, when Trump's first travel ban made it to the Supreme Court, it was upheld. And now, with a more conservative-leaning court, the outcome could be even more favorable for him. And let's not forget Congress. If Republicans take control of the House and Senate, they could push even tougher immigration laws. Trump has even floated the idea of reinstating mass deportations and ending birthright citizenship, moves that would spark nationwide protests and legal battles. The bigger picture, but beyond the politics, let's not forget the human cost. Families could be torn apart. Students could be forced to leave. Workers who have spent years building careers in the US could suddenly find themselves out of status. For many immigrants, America isn't just a place to live, it's home, and a sweeping policy like this could upend lives overnight. So what do you think? Is this a necessary move for national security, or is it another overreach that will do more harm than good? Let's talk about it in the comments. One thing's for sure, this battle is far from over and we'll be following every development. Stay tuned for updates, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what happens next. That's all we have for this bulletin. The U.S. Immigration News Channel provides all necessary visa information and procedures for your U.S. immigration journey. It is important to understand the United States immigration processing steps, visa application requirements, processing times, forms, fees, and more. We will continue to provide all information about U.S. visitor visas, such as B1 and B2, work visas, such as L1A, L1B, and H1B, student visas, green cards, immigrant visas, EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, and EB5, and family immigrant visas. Thank you for visiting us today, and we'll see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to the channel for more U.S. immigration update videos.